What is up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads and fathers in the world that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that collaboration this year in 2022 and last year in 2021, I reached out, or part of a team that reached out to over 100,000 fathers around the world. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And this is the last live morning vibe of this year, not ever. This year. So it's December 30th. I hope you've had a wonderful holiday. I hope Ryan's going to be joining us. He didn't say he wouldn't be, so hopefully we're going to have him in momentarily. But we have a special friend here who is brave enough to come on the Dr. Vibe. We put it out there on Monday. We were looking for people who wanted to come on the show, and only one person. So I don't know if that is people have things to do. They're afraid. We're not bad people. We're okay. So let's get some things going first. First of all, you have today and tomorrow to vote for the Dr. Vibe show in the best podcaster category at this year's BuyBlacks.com People's Choice Awards. Go to buyblacks.com/PCA/vote to vote. And you can vote, I guess, with the remaining hours. You can vote every 24 hours. For everyone that has voted, I appreciate it. It's not taken for granted. If we win, that's great. If not, no problem. Not the end of the world. Also, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe show, especially on YouTube. I think I'm about 15 subscribers away from the 1,000 mark. So when you subscribe on YouTube, also hit the notification button so you get notified of upcoming Epic Conversations. Also, like on Facebook, and wherever you're watching, just subscribe. Bottom line. So we got one other quick thing we want to just include today. So let me put it up for the world to see. All right, we'll just get some things going here. My screen is sort of funny this morning, so bear with me. So we got this morning, exclusive for the Morning Vibe show for today only. Frequency Event Promotion has a pull-up banner BOGO sale promotion. If you're looking to increase the visibility of your brand, you can buy one pull-up banner at full price and the second at 50% off, but you must have your design ready. So please email Frequency Event Promotions for more information. You can email them at sales@frequencyeventpromotions.com, or you can call them directly at 647-317-2170 extension 1. So if you're looking to get a last minute deal before the end of the year, get that buy one, get one free. I'll put there's the contact information right up on the screen. And my screen is really funky this morning. There's that bluey stuff in the background, but I'm here. Don't worry. All right. So let's get to it. So this is the last conversation we're having during the year. And we want to say, first of all, thank you very much for all your support. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. And we're going to do more and crazier things in the new, crazy good things, by the way, in the new year. So love to get everyone's take on what their thoughts of the year, what they're visioning for their new year, whether it's personally or Blackalicious wise. But before we go any further, let's bring up the person who was brave enough to join us today. A lady named Camille from Fitnance IQ. If you watch the Dr. Vibe, but no, Dr. Vibe, well, Dr. Vibe and the Morning Vibe, she is a regular in this presence.
Morning,
Oh,
morning.
two other things. Two other
Mm-hmm.
things. We're giving away again frequency event promotions. We're giving away their calendars for 2023. So all you need to do is put a comment in and you qualify. And I think that's it. I think we got that covered. I didn't want to forget that. But if I forgot something else, remind me. Good morning, Camille.
Good morning, Dr. Vibe. And you'll see a
What's
beautiful face. Well, not my face, but you'll see
oh
my name in the calendar.
oh are you one of the yes, you are one of the people in the calendar, aren't you?
I am. So I'm very excited.
So, before we go any further, can you please introduce yourself to the Dr. Vibe Morning Show family?
Absolutely. My name's Camille Smith. I am founder of Fitness IQ Services, and also I have a podcast, Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast, where Dr. Vibe was able to be on episode 99.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to be on episode 100.
Hey,
I didn't rate. I didn't rate.
I had to make sure, a familiar face was on there as
Hold
well.
on. Oh, I'm not familiar enough. Okay, go on.
I mean, someone that started the podcast with me from day one. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So,
We understand.
oh, thank you. So, my services is bookkeeping, taxes, and I like to call myself a personal finance trainer. So I'm able to help individuals and businesses become financially fit and all that great stuff.
Wow.
hmm
And just quickly, how did that business start? And why did that business start?
Ah, that's a great question. So originally, and I'm gonna say the politically correct name. I think was it Toronto Metropolitan University. I
Yes,
went there.
TMU. Yes.
TMU. I was debated not to say the previous word or name, but I
Yes.
went to
Yes.
that university where I took accounting and finance. And even though I was loving accounting because my mom and aunt were accountants by trade, oh, when I took auditing, I was like, you know what? Mm, accounting's not for me. I'm gonna stick
It's not
to
not your jam.
finance. Yeah, especially after auditing. And so I
You
was
know, I'm going
like,
to interrupt for a second. I'm going to change my top. We continue on. I'm just going to change my
okay,
top because it's like going on like
it's a
hieroglyphics going on. So keep on going. I'll be back in just a second. I'm here.
awesome, awesome. So I went to that university and I finished with finance. And I just remember how I took a personal finance course and I absolutely loved it. I think I spent hours and hours just trying to do a comprehensive financial plan, and I was like, I love this. But fast forward, um so I graduated 2011, but things were rough in the economy, so I managed to go to, ooh, it's even
That's
different.
worse. Okay.
um
Keep on
yep,
going.
yep, so I went to South Korea to just teach ESL there, which I basically living abroad helped me become the person I am now, like being independent and being able to manage things. But I also had the love of some of the kids that actually didn't know a hint of English. And within like the year of being there, they were at least able to comprehend some English, right? So that gave me an amazing feeling, but I knew that ESL wasn't my passion. When I say ESL, English as a second language teacher,
Okay.
um, I wanted to come back to Toronto and focus on personal finance. There we go. And red's my favorite color. Ah. So then
Behave yourself, please.
I'm being an angel.
That even more suspicion than else. Keep on going.
Oh gosh. So then I came back and came back to Toronto 2015 and I started doing some bookkeeping for a non-for-profit business. And I was like, I really need to get this business on the go. So then I thought of Finance IQ, which is fitness and finance together, because I love both things. It's been a while since I worked out, but I will go back into it in the new year, I promise. But yeah, so that was how Finance IQ came into to play, and it's been great since. I've been doing it. I hit 5 years this March that passed.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm excited. I just want more. I want it to grow and to be, like an empire and all that good stuff.
All
I know.
right. No, no, hey,
I
but you know
watch too
what?
much Power. Hmm.
Uh, I say to people, dream big. And also, as my major mentor says, dreams never have an expiry date.
True. True. I think
So
that's
that's
one of
great.
the things you said on my episode as well.
You actually remember me being on it? Oh, wow.
I do,
You
I
have
had
so,
to go back.
yeah, I know. Rewind, rewind. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay. So if you're seeing us banter, this is the way we banter offline too. So you're getting it's a little
Agree.
bit crazier, but we're modifying it for the Morning Vibe family today. So let's talk things that happened in 2023, either personally or 2022. Sorry, 2022. Any things you want to start off with, or I can start. I always like to say ladies first. If you don't have something, I can certainly start.
You can start first. I'm trying to
Okay.
decipher what I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I think one of the most prominent news stories when it comes to people that look like us, the
Mhm.
slap. And it seems that it happened so long ago, but it happened this year. The infamous Will Smith slap of Chris
Oh.
Rock,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And the
yes.
the the commotion that it caused, the there's just so many different layers on that.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a good night to be a black man.
I can
Let alone a black.
imagine.
Yes, and the repercussions that live on that, and just I think that that will probably be one of the most significant news stories when it comes to Black North Americans, especially. It's forgotten
Mhm.
about now, but you know we're in the world of social media extremes, and that's one of the things that happened again. Will doing his apology eventually about it,
Mhm.
and Chris Rock basically saying, "No, I don't want to talk to him." So Chris is just leaving it there, and there's many different layers. Again, you haven't heard anything much from either. Well, Will had a new movie that came out recently. It's sort of
Mhm.
people saying he's doing his apology tour. They were saying he was doing his apology tour in regards to it, but um, that was one thing that stuck on. And again, people would say, "Oh yeah, did that happen this year?" Yes, it
I
did.
Now that you said it, as soon as you said it, I was like, slap, and then there's a lot that happened. That's why. Like, I know it's been mentioned around in the last week or so. Tory Lanez getting founded guilty.
Oh yes, yes. I only look at the headlines. I don't go deep, and then there's a whole other. There's not enough about it. But Andrew Tate
Mm. Oh,
getting
he talked
arrested
about it.
last night. No, he got arrested last night for
Where is my popcorn?
charge for human trafficking and things like that. But the funny thing is, I don't know what country it's. I don't know if it's Romania or something. But he only is being detained for 24 hours. What? 24 hours?
Wow.
Yeah,
Ain't
and
that
him and
something?
so I think that was interesting. Um, the Tory
God.
Lane, I don't pay a lot of attention to. I think more than ever, I think this year should
Hmm.
show less and less that we should uh, pay attention to celebrities.
That's very
Like
true.
the celebrity thing, if is really wearing very very thin. I think just for myself, always had for a long
Mm.
period of time, but it's really really getting very
Especially
concerning.
especially since the pandemic, because there's so many celebrities. I recently just took off my notifications off of Instagram and WhatsApp. So it's like I don't have that much anxiety of looking at what's happening in the news. So I did not hear that he got arrested.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's
Yeah,
interesting. You talk about the news. I don't watch the news.
neither
And
do
people
I.
say, "What? How do you stay plugged in?" Well, I can just go online and a bit of it, but there's so much stuff going on. We had, even though directly it doesn't involve us, the whole war in the Ukraine, how has that's had a global effect on all of us, especially you're into the economics, so
Hmm.
all that impact, how it's
Oh,
had like on all of us.
and they even as of late, Canada's gonna have a Ukraine bond for it, which is very interesting because I think what the beginning of this year they're gonna issue like $500 million for this bond, which is very very
Wow.
interesting to me. But hey, I understand why they're doing it and just trying to help build that country back. But what about over here?
What about us?
What about us? That's all I gotta say. I don't want to be
Well,
canceled.
no, but this let's put this: people are going to take care of their own people.
That's true.
So I think that's a way I could say it. I know you may not say it like that, but I would say that has been an impact. And I think though one of the things, if I look through my melanated lens, that has
Hmm.
become more and more prevalent this year, mental health,
Yes.
big
Yes.
thing. It's very interesting over this holiday season how so many. I've had extremes. I've had some people that are okay. There are some people, like I got a message from a young lady that I'm mentoring this
Hmm.
morning, and she said, uh, uh, actually, someone else wants to come on too.
Oh,
I'm gonna email someone on in just a moment, but
of
saying,
course.
good morning, Doctor Vibe. I unplugged for the holidays.
Um, yeah, I think
A
for
lot of people are
yeah.
and because they're going through a lot or have gone through a lot. So just give me a second here. I'm going to see if I can I'm going to
Absolutely.
send a message to someone and see if they're willing to come on. Ryan is saying he's having some technical difficulties, but he's doing his best to come on.
Oh, come on
So
through, Ryan.
yes, we have a boss lady here, so we want to make sure that she makes it.
I
So hey,
say
yes,
I
yeah,
disconnected from social media for the other day. I don't say unplugged for personal reasons, but I had to disconnect as well. Um, the holidays is something, that's for sure. Um, and mental health is important. Just figuring out how to tolerate holidays and stuff. I forgot her name, but I loved the episode that you had. I think it was last Friday, where it was like how to handle holiday stress. And I was like, I needed this one. But at the same time, it the holidays have been okay. Civil, I would say. No one, there's no blood on the table or anything.
wow. No blood on the table.
Just sorrow, just sorrow on the
Um,
table.
when is my delivery by when am I getting mine by the way?
It's coming soon. There's technical difficulties with this sorrel this year, but I actually have a good amount bottled up. I'm trying to find more bottles and all that good stuff.
Okay. Okay, so I've sent someone a link. I've just
Mhm.
messaged him saying I've sent him a link because hopefully he will join us, one of our wonderful friends and supporters. So momentarily he will be coming on. I think also, yeah, the whole mental health there. I think also I'll definitely discuss topic this year and also lead into next year is all the Black ecosystem. The Black ecosystem became a very, very hot topic this year.
Indeed,
And
indeed.
and just all the different organizations. I think interesting looking at the morning vibe this year, two of I think two of the big conversations we had that sort of elevated what we were
Mhm.
doing was the one where there was the young lady that was suing the Face Coalition. That brought a lot of eyeballs, and then I can't remember his name, but another gentleman who wrote an article.
Mhm.
Why am I free? Having some very interesting things to say about West Hall of the Black North Initiative.
Oh, I got it. I have to look over those episodes
Yeah,
because
those episodes really brought a lot of eyeballs onto our platform,
okay.
and I think again the whole Black ecosystem bit, and as I share with a lot of people, a lot
Mhm.
of all these ecosystem partners, they've got now less than 2 years to you know show their worth and know there's no guarantee there's going to be money after that. There's been
Mm.
enough speculation and controversy about how they're being run.
Oof.
So you know what? And actually, we do
Yeah.
have someone joining us, Mister
Ah.
Mister McMillan. You have to unmute yourself, my man. There we go. Good
Good
morning, Ray.
Morning.
How are you?
morning. Good morning.
Well, I'm doing very well, man. Good morning. How you guys doing?
All is well.
Outstanding. Good to have you. And this is this is probably our number one supporter because he's there on every conversation. Plus, he sponsors our Monday shows.
Thank you very much.
So it is and thank you so much for jumping in. How is family doing?
Well, everybody's doing well. I mean, you know, yeah, nothing to worry about.
There
We
you
live in
go.
the best
So
part. We live in the best part of the world, man. What is there to
thank
complain
you.
about?
I there you there you go. Well, some people say there
Let's be
is
real, right?
okay. So as you look back on this year, what are some of the things either from a personal lens or from a Black lens stood out for you or have stood out for you?
That's a very interesting question. Um, I think we have gotten too engrossed in the celebrity culture. We spend too much time worrying about who is doing what. That doesn't really take us further along the road to where we need to be. Um, I'm not a celebrity. What's the word? I have no celebrity that I'm interested in. I don't care anything about their personal lives, their net worths, or nothing like that. I mean, if they're going to build a hospital or a school, that's a different conversation. Um, so I think we spend too much time down that down that rabbit hole, worrying about who is doing what and jumping on the bandwagons when anybody announces some grandiose plan like, oh, I'm going to buy a football team or a basketball team or something of that nature. When, I listened to a podcast yesterday, and apparently there are two black hospitals in America
Oh wow.
with
Wow.
47 million black people.
Two.
You know, no, I'm sorry Ryan is not here this morning because we always tend to butt heads because I grew up in the Caribbean. Born in the UK, grew up in the Caribbean. So my success stories are black. Right. I came in when I was 25 years old. Right. So I spent time in the Caribbean between Guyana and St. Lucia. So my reality is very different from many folks who actually were either born here or came here very young.
Uh-huh.
Where for many people here, black success seems to be this special thing or black accomplishment. While for me, it's normal. So, you know, so that's my perspective on it. Like how do we remove ourselves from this whole celebrity worship and start
You,
focusing on real things and start worrying about, buying some property in Toronto and stop, you know, all the other nonsense. Like I always tell you, Dr. Vibe, I drive local. So 2 weeks ago, I took a drive out to Kingston Road. And then I drove all the way along Eglinton from the east end. I flew into Danforth. I got on to Eglinton around probably Young Street.
yep,
Drove along Eglinton Avenue back to my office, Mississauga.
yep.
Right? 2.5 hours, pour a tank of gas later. And you see the infrastructural development along Eglinton Avenue. You see the small homes being converted to mid-rise, mid-density homes. You see the businesses when you come to Mississauga, all those corporate head offices, and yet black folks are buying houses in Shelburne. Like, explain the madness to me.
Well,
Why are you buying a home in a community where the infrastructure is non-existent? There's no amenities, no infrastructure, no transit. None of your child to do. All go to the community center and probably the library. Right? So why are we so consumed with trying to do things that make no sense? Right? No, that's not a very popular opinion I have because people don't want to hear the truth most of the time. Right?
well, I'm gonna build. I'm gonna build on what you said. I'm gonna let.
Has a lot to do with proximity, the infrastructure, and amenities. So the further you go from the downtown core, that's any city in the world you go to, whether you go to New York, Atlanta, Kingston, Jamaica, you can buy Grenada, anywhere you go in the world, the closer you are to the financial hub of that city, that's where you want to buy property. So let's switch the conversation and buy that 900 square foot bungalow off Dufferin and Eglinton, than that 3,000 square foot house somewhere in Womanville. Because I guarantee you,
Look, this is gonna be good. Camille's got some thoughts on this.
I understand, but I think, and I'm gonna assume I'm the youngest one on this
Well, you're
conversation.
well. Yeah, I will say they're certainly the best looking one.
I understand the issue of trying to be outskirts, and I know, like, in some conversations that I've had, that the best price at the moment is outside of downtown Toronto. Like, I can name a couple friends in my head that are looking for places, whether it's like downtown Toronto or Pickering or Brampton, and it's like, I know someone just recently that went from Brampton to Windsor just because it's more affordable. And I think that's the issue with what's happening. And I remember the discussion I had the other day with, like, if John Tory or whoever was able to actually make, downtown core actually more affordable, then you would see more, especially younger folks, that would go back into the city instead of going outskirts. Because I'm not even going to look in Toronto. I, like
well,
$1
first of
million.
all, Windsor is not the outskirts. Windsor is a large city. So I wasn't referencing Windsor when I made that comment. You can't compare Windsor with Shelburne. I mean, Windsor is the busiest border crossing in North America on the U.S. Canada side. So that's another argument. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
be.
no,
That's another
by
argument.
all means.
There's price and there's costs,
Hmm.
right? And I think most of us focus on price and not cost, right?
That means
So
times are
there's a
rough for some.
cost of living. I mean, you're a finance expert. So there's a cost of living
Mhm.
far away from all the amenities. So yes,
You
your
know,
house is going to cost you. Go ahead, Dr. Vibe. I know you should
yeah,
say something.
I wanted. There's so many things, but I'll just interrupt on that point. You said when I was looking to purchase a home a while back, at the time the houses were cheaper and probably still are in Pickering, a little bit east of Toronto. But I said, you know what? I have to commute to the Toronto core. So whatever I saved in house costs, I would have to pay in either gas or transportation fees and time.
And that
True.
brings us back to price and cost. So
That's why I
if
was
you're a
saying
young
that.
family, you've got 2 children, yes, you're spending $200,000 less on the house, and it's probably larger. And there are homes you can buy in Toronto. If you have a good realtor, you search, you can find houses in Toronto that are comparable in price to any one of those strange locations outside the GTA. It would be a smaller home, but your appreciation in value and your resilience to market corrections are going to be significantly more than buying something in those communities. So if you've got a young family, you're commuting, because everybody works in the GTA unless you work from home. And that's very few people. And most people will end up going back to work very, very
That's
soon.
right.
That's
That's
demanding.
right.
And if you don't
That's
go back, they're
right.
going to fire you.
Yeah.
So the COVID stuff is over. That was a blip
I say
in the whole thing.
I think we could, and I'm gonna put a stop on it because that we can have we can go all down that
Oh
road,
yeah.
but I want
Oh
to
yeah.
touch some other things. But it's interesting when you talk about the going back to work phenomenon, and it's interesting. I was speaking to a gentleman who I've known for about 20 plus years who does corporate HR. He does HR, finds people at senior level at banks and corporations and that. And we met a few weeks ago, and he told me that what some companies are doing is they're having people come back gradually to work. And he said, I can't name the company, very major one though. They did a survey with the employees saying, well, how do you like this? And how do you like this? We've done this for you. We've done that for you. And everyone said, oh, we love it. That was the impetus to have them now come back 5 days a week. We said, well, you like all this stuff? You can come now. Well, we've done all this stuff right now. You can come back 5 days a week. So I think that's a very important topic, especially for people who look like us. Many of them are frontline workers. They never had a work from home situation, but a lot of them have either lost their jobs or are in economic crisis. I think economically, it was a very impactful year for many people who look like this, and also with interest rates going up, with gas prices going up. It just becomes more and more of a squeeze. So I think, let's talk about, yes, there's a home side of it, but there's also an economic, blacks and economics. What is the economy doing, or what are blacks doing to stay, if they can stay ahead of the economy, since both you are money people?
Raymond,
Go
you could
ahead,
go.
Cam.
I
Uh,
think we have to make logical decisions and not emotional decisions. A lot of black folks' money decisions are emotional. It comes from a place of feeling, has to feel good. Um, you know, I think for most people most of us are immigrants to this country, either first or second generation immigrants, because most people have a Caribbean background. Okay. Just give me one sec, guys. I got a
No
lot of stuff
problem.
ringing here.
That's all right. You're in
Yeah.
demand, just like Camille.
That's all right. Sorry about that. So most of us, if we come here, some of us were born here. They came across the Underground Railroad, but a large amount of us came here during the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So our grandparents, our parents, or we ourselves are first generation immigrants. So as an immigrant, you migrate for one reason, for a better life. No one leaves the place of their birth to go to a strange country, most times with harsh weather conditions, because the winters here are deadly, for the fun of it. If the reason you migrate is for a better life,
Hmm.
then what are you doing to create that better life for yourself and for your future generations? So the way to do that is to acquire assets, whether it's real estate, stocks, or building businesses. Sadly to say, We haven't done that a whole lot. Hence the reason we are still celebrating first accomplishments in our community or in our Black environment, as Dr. Vibe says, in 2022.
I agree.
So the focus has to shift. And the further we live apart from each other, the least able we are to support each other. Because if
Okay, I
if
know.
we've got a community of 1 million Black people in Canada, 1.4 million Black people, let's say 400,000 living in the GTA or 500,000, and we're living in all these little small pockets all over the place, but we all want to have a business.
Neighborhoods.
I'm not driving from Mississauga to Pittman to buy nothing from no Black person. I'm not going to do it to waste my time. So when we want to understand that process, I mean, I went down Gerard a few days ago, went to Gerard Square. I haven't gone to Gerard Square since 1999.
Wow.
It hasn't changed very much in 30-something years.
It hasn't.
The
It
entire
looks
community is still South Asian.
Yep.
The whole strip is South Asian.
Yep.
When you go there, you think you're in Bangladesh.
Yep.
This is an amazing feeling. You know what the difference is? They own those properties. That's the difference. So you can go and buy a house in wherever for $500,000. But how are you going to start a business? How is your child going to start a business?
Mm-hmm.
Where is their customer coming from? If you bought a house in Oakland and Vaughan, your entire community can get to you easily.
Mm-hmm. True.
But then, okay, I'm going to go on this. You talk about us living apart. And as you know, I don't believe when I hear Black community, I sort of go, where? I think there's a lot of Black neighborhoods, right? But my question is, it looks like, and maybe I'm wrong here, but this is just a Dr. Vibe here. Even when we're together, we can't be together.
Dr. Vibe, there are no Black neighborhoods. There was Malton and Malvern. Correct you. I'm a social scientist, sir.
Right. So
no
for me, I and I'm going to transition this conversation piece. What Hayden says here, there is a price and cost, and not forget the quality of life, which may be the most important thing for many people. But my question is, do many people think the quality of life is the most important thing? No. I don't think a lot of people do. I think there's a few things. There was a survey done by AC Nielsen in the States, probably one of the biggest market research companies in the world. Guess what cultural group pays attention to their celebrities more than anybody else? Da 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 da. Mm-hmm. And I did say it throughout the year, and I've said it for the last 2 years: trauma, repetition, symbolism. A number of us love the symbolism. Okay. Tim Frey, good morning, Tim. And we'd love people to comment so we can give away some calendars, by the way. There is more successful business people moving out of the city right now, buying properties north, Arthur, Mount Forest, Shelburne, Grey Bruce County, etc. There is certain Black people, myself included, who are still living in the bubble and do not empathize enough about other people's situations. Not everyone can or should buy in the GTA.
What Black business is there in Shelburne? I mean, other than the other restaurant, I mean, what else do you have? I know there's one restaurant in Shelburne. I don't even know it's still there. Okay. I mean, when you say business, what are you talking about? The barbershop and the restaurant? Is that the business you're referring to? I mean, that'd be real. Like, give me the feedback. Because I mean, I'm on Google all the time looking for places to go when I want stuff, like a barbershop, a mechanic shop. I use Google a lot to find stuff, and I put in Caribbean-owned businesses before I do a search, and you can't find anything. And a Black professional can live anywhere. If you're an accountant, a doctor, or a lawyer, that's fine. You have a job. So your contribution to the Black community is almost non-existent. Because if you're a Black person in a white community who's a doctor, then you aren't really providing any service for your Black community, because most of your patients will be non-Black. So what? I don't understand the validity of the comment.
Camille, why you're just smiling and chuckling?
I'm
You're not saying
I'm just taking it in. I didn't know I was
gotta
gonna be
say
sent.
something. All right,
I'm
before we go any further, Dr. Tachi, again, host of Media Scope, online broadcast about media, tech, and pop culture, 5 p.m. Eastern Times, Instagram Live on Wednesdays, and then many other platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook Live, Gospel Station in the Caribbean. She is saying hello, and she's going to be returning back on January 16th because we have to do part 2 of this year in media. We couldn't get there enough. We got here Earl Anderson, wow, powerful. No black community. So where are the infrastructure builders? Good question.
Well, to answer that question, Earl, in order to get to be involved in infrastructure building, we got to be involved in municipal politics because that's where the real decisions are being made. I mean, we got this tendency to get involved in provincial and federal politics. I mean, we had some accomplished black politicians,
Mhm.
but the real decisions are being made
At the
at the
municipal
municipal
level.
level.
Yep.
That's where all the zoning permits are issued and all the developmental plans are formulated, not in Ottawa. They're done right here at City Hall in Mississauga, in City Hall in Windsor, City Hall in Toronto. And I mean, I tell Ryan all the time that we've got to get local folks more engaged. I mean, if you drive down, like if you're a homeowner, for example, in Toronto or any part of the GTA,
Mhm.
you get a letter in the mail telling you that a zoning application is in place for this address. How many people actually read that document and take a trip to City Hall to see what is going on? Most people
You know,
don't.
it's interesting you mentioned that there is a church that has been around for at least 100 years in the neighborhood, and they're tearing it down for condominiums. It is going to cause a traffic disaster in this area. And I'm keeping an eye when the meeting's being held because I'm going to say my piece there because the traffic in this area is already a mess. It's going to get even worse.
You mean the one on the corner?
Uh, which corner?
Birchmount.
No, well, if you go on Lawrence Avenue
Mm-hmm.
East, there's been an old church. It's like before you get to Lawrence, there's a
Oh,
stoplight. That
okay.
old church, the corner, they're tearing it down for condominiums. That is going to cause a mess. But I'm going to make sure I have my say there. But I agree. If we want things in change, we got to get involved with the ground level. What at the level that every day that impacts us the most every day. Like if I get a parking ticket, it has nothing to do with the federal government.
True. I think with that, those type of situations, um, again, as the youngest person here, the issues where more people are concerned about social media and what's happening with celebrities and not even taking into consideration what's happening in your own backyard. Like I remember recently around my area, I won't say where, but there was a bus stop lane or the bus lane that came in, and I was like, who agreed to this? But then again, like you mentioned, that there was probably something in the mail that was mentioning that this was going to happen, and I was like, wow, I actually wish I had paid attention even more before, because I would
Mhm,
have told them, don't bring this over here, sir,
mhm.
because it's just inconvenient for all individuals that live around here. So I do vote with every election that happens, but I know I do have to pay attention. I'm kind of still in my financial world and just paying attention to that, but not paying attention to the bigger aspect.
All right.
But I think with conversations like this and having more of them, people will be more aware of them.
Okay, just to update a little bit more, we got some more comments here. Tim Frey
Mhm.
says, I own over 22 businesses globally. Christopher Lawrence, who supplied the calendars of frequency event promotions, saying, Seasons greens, everyone and all. Hi, Dr. Vibe, Camille, and Ray, Real Estate McMillan. Uh, He also says, hi, Dr. Tachi and Mr. Tim Frey. Also, Hayden says, this is a great conversation that really needs a deeper dive. Yes, and this is making me think that more often on this platform, we have to invite people in and let's talk. Let's talk. So I'm gonna speak with Ryan. Ryan says he still can't log on. I don't know. Maybe he's afraid of Ray. I don't know. But not just joking. I'm just joking, Ryan.
I had to keep my office, man. You can't be afraid of me.
Okay.
Come and go and
Christopher says, my only shillings worth here is with the developments going up. Where are the jobs? Jobs. The unemployed are still waiting to be employed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the jobs and the trades are unionized jobs. So we've got to figure out how to become union members if you're a tradesperson. I've met two young men, both in their 20s and 30s, who are both union members. They both make six-figure incomes, right? And that's where the mentorship comes in. Like, we have to mentor our kids that the real money, not everybody is going to get a BA or a BSc or a Bachelor of Finance. And we have all become, more immigrants are sending their kids from high school to university without any real understanding of the economy. I have 3 kids. Only one went to university. I have a university degree. So by nature, I should have forced my kids to go to all my kids go to university. There's no need to go to university. My second son has run his own business since he was 14 years old, very successfully. And my eldest son is Dr. Wagner, works with me.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that,
there's a whole conversation that we need to start having. Like, yes, okay to have, multiple businesses and have a house in these great subdivisions and all that stuff. But what is the legacy? How many of us actually have our children working for us, much as a total stranger?
Yeah. I
But that's the challenge. I mean, you asked the question, like what we want to see with the Black community. How many of us actually have our children working for us or inherit whatever business we have, much less a complete stranger in our office? No relative, no DNA. We're not sharing any DNA with this individual, right? And when we can get to that place, then we can talk about rising to the next level. We have all these very superficial and healthy and not healthy, pleasant conversations. We're afraid to unruffle each other's feathers.
Yeah.
But even families, we still love each other.
We have to go in, we have to have this.
You got to go deep. You got to have the real conversations.
Yeah. So,
and I appreciate what that, what I mean?
Hayden says, please understand that most of us are working 40, 50 hours weekly with very little time for involvement in municipal issues.
Then you're doing something very, very wrong. If you're an immigrant to this country and working 50 hours a week, you are doing something wrong. I've never had a part-time job in North America. I've never worked 40 hours a week in my life.
Okay.
Something is wrong with your plan there. And no offense to you, Hayden, I know some people have to do it, but you got to get, if you're a 40-year-old man working 50 hours a week and it's not your business, you are doing something wrong. End the conversation.
Where is the
recheck what you're doing, adjust your lifestyle, start the game over.
Yeah.
That's not an accomplishment.
Well, that's a thing too. Like these days, I'm looking at it. What's the legacy piece? Okay, and Hayden goes, it may be wrong, but very real. Christopher goes,
and I respect that. I respect that, Hayden. I respect that. I'm not calling you out personal. I'm making a general comment. You can't build your own dream.
There's a number of people.
You can't build your own dream working 50 hours a week with somebody else. Right? So if it means taking a pay cut and working 30 hours a week to build your own legacy, then that's what you have to do. Inside in your house, again, with one of the cars you're driving, you're catching the bus for a year and parking the car and taking out the insurance. That's what you have to do. And I'm suggesting things I have done personally. I have no problem Mr. Stagger Transit or TTC and get where I got to go and park my car for 2 years to have that extra income. The problem with most folks is that they're comfortable. And you can't grow and strive if you're comfortable. You grow in discomfort. That's where your growth comes from.
Camille, you can jump off anytime you want, by the way.
No, I'm enjoying this. I'm
If
I'm
you
here for
settle,
the ride.
you're not going to get any place. You know what I'm saying? Like you asked me earlier, how's the family doing? They live in North America. They're doing great. They got great roads. They got heat in their house and electricity. They're parts of the Caribbean that folks don't have that kind of stuff, and they survive and thrive.
True. True.
So
And they
have
enjoy their
immigrant
life.
parents, or you're an immigrant yourself, and you can't find the time to create your own legacy, then you squander the opportunity of migrating to this what they call the first world nation.
Okay.
I have never worked 2 hours in my life.
Christopher says, Ray, you're singing in the right key. And then Hayton goes, I'm blessed not to be one of those, but I'm well aware of the issues in our community. By the way, nothing personal. So this is what I like, when we can share opinions and not take it personally. And Hayden, I would love you to come on. This is really good, because we're going to have once a month, we're going to have a town hall, and just people come on and just share. And I love this. Naleen Prasad says, yep, discomfort is the catalyst for growth. Okay, it's about time you said something, Camille, other than show your pretty self.
I'm just in awe, because I would love to have this discussion as well on episode, because everything Raymond said I agree with. We are too comfortable in this in the GTA to be able to, like I said before, if people weren't focused on like what's happening in social media and all that good stuff, they would have the time to um, deal with these issues that's going on in their community or neighborhoods. So it's excuse in a sense.
Well, here's a nice way of putting it. If you're not happy now,
You won't be happy in 2 years later.
if you're not happy now and you're not planning to change, don't complain.
See, that's why I go and vote, so I can complain just in case. If they're like, see, that's why I tried to.
And I'll tell you, one of the blessings I've had this year. Look at this, and Hayden says it right. Truth. By the way, life is only going to get more difficult in our community, and we need to be prepared for that.
It's true.
And I agree with you 100%.
Yep.
That statement is so profound, because I keep telling my clients all the time that if you're struggling now when you're working, what's going to happen when you retire? Most folks have no clue what their pension is going to be like. They have no idea what that number is going to be. If you can't live with $80,000 a year, you're in debt. How are you going to live on $3,000 a month? Many of our community members are going to retirement with very large mortgages. They're in their late 60s. I got clients in their 70s with $300,000 mortgages.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. So if you are struggling now when you're 40 and healthy, what happens when you're 70, aging, and probably unhealthy? Because we got a whole series of issues in our community, in our DNA. We got obesity and high blood pressure and all sorts of issues. So you be spending thousands of dollars on healthcare every single year. So the real problem, as Hayden mentioned, is not today. It's that whole generation. And because we are relatively a young ecosystem in Canada, we haven't really seen the impacts of large-scale Black retirement.
Let me put it this way. And so teaching the fire says, yep, retirement is scary for many. Well, retirement, and then Christopher says, real estate, the trades, and entrepreneurs.
Well, that's why that's why I really try to stress financial literacy, because as I always mention, our parents or grandparents didn't know everything about financial
literacy. My parents didn't
literacy.
teach me that. My dad worked at the same place for 38 years. He never taught me anything about All he did was he was frugal. That's all he did. But he didn't sit down and talk to me about it. You know, I'm blessed that especially this year I've reached out to Ray for advice on things that I didn't have any knowledge of. And that's I think one of the things that many of us have to do. We gotta ask.
True.
We got to ask. Get your ego out of the way and ask.
Ego and pride
Right?
is
Because if
definitely.
and about whether it's about finances, whether it's about your health, ask people. Too many people don't want to ask. Oh, I'll look like I don't know, or it's going to make me look bad. Get your pride out of the way. Like I said, I'll be honest. I asked Ray about my mortgage situation about 2 months ago. He said, "You're doing okay."
But I do want to stress.
But he did say, now it's what you want to do going ahead is gonna be for yourself. But you've got to decide, what do you want to do? You're in a good situation. What are you going to do with that good situation? Because if you stay still, it can change on a dime.
True.
So what are you going to do with the situation? What do you want? And this is suggestions on how you can get there.
I do want to stress that for the folks or like the 20s and 30-year-olds that see their parents or grandparents retiring and you see them struggling, you got to start investing and cuz I'm not dogging anyone that's in that situation. I would hate to see um parents or grandparents working back in Walmart because they couldn't afford their retirement lifestyle and didn't think of the future with saving and investing and all that great stuff, because I'm seeing it and I'm like, there's no way I can get to that level. Like, I purposely save every paycheck or payment that I receive. I invest. I know about the assets. I'm hoping this business becomes an empire.
No. Say it will be.
And
Don't
it
say
will.
hope.
Sorry, it
Thank
will.
you.
It
Thank
will.
you.
And I am trickling into the real estate um
So
era as
can I
well.
make a suggestion?
Yes.
Call the man that's below you on the screen. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
I'll give you two suggestions. The first one is, if you've got Caribbean ancestry, whether your mother is from the Caribbean or you yourself were born there,
Parents.
then one of the first things you want to do is acquire property in the Caribbean. That's the first thing you want to do, right? I mean, I don't care. Most islands are very small. So anywhere you buy property in the Caribbean, will have access to a beach or some sort of tourist attraction, or it has an amazing view. And you can buy properties in the Caribbean for probably $500,000 in many of the islands that will allow you to earn probably $60,000 a year easily.
In the works.
We've got the platforms in place to do it. You've got the VRBO, rent by owner. You've got Airbnb. You can put your property in Expedia. It's very easy to do it, right? So if you've got Caribbean lineage, it goes back to your grandparents. So if your grandparents were born in the Caribbean, you can get a Caribbean passport and get Caribbean citizenship. So if you have that connection, then don't squander it, because land, water, and money are the world's most scarcest resources.
There you
Talk about
go.
water. The next thing you want to do, coming back to buying property in the GTA, the suburbs are designed for low density residential housing. So it's very difficult to change the value of your home by changing the zoning if you live in a suburban environment, right? You buy a house there, that's it. You can't do anything to it. You may put a basement in it and rent it to a tenant, but you can't really change the value significantly. And I will debate whether doing your basement actually makes sense. I think it's a waste of money, because you're investing $60,000 into a basement, or $100,000 in some cases, but that $100,000 is not going to double the value
No.
of the house you're putting that basement in. So I can debate that and I can show you the numbers and we can get into that's a whole conversation. Buying property in the GTA in the 416 now I'm referring to allows you to change your zoning to mid density very easily. So yes, the property you're going to buy may be expensive, but with the right education, you can take it from a single family home or a small duplex into probably a sixplex or an eightplex and change its value significantly.
All right.
Now, you don't have to do it yourself. You can go and apply for all the permits, right? And by doing that, the value is now gone up. Then you sell the project. If you don't want to become a contractor and buy another home and start the process all over again. And if you start that process by 25 or 30, by the time you're in your mid 40s, and you've done it a few times, you can now go out to Shelburne and buy 10 acres and 4,000 square feet. But you've not got $5 million in the bank. But it doesn't make any sense going to Shelburne. Then you have no money. That's the way I see it.
All right. Okay, so
catching
up
on. I don't want to live on 10 acres. I mean, I want to live on 10 acres also and far from the maddening crowd. But 10 acres is not going to make you any money unless you're going to be planting something that's going to generate a lot of income. I know you can plant today is going to make you a lot of money is marijuana.
Yep.
Mm.
There you go.
So you plant is going to make you money on 10 acres of land.
Catch up converse topics. Dr. Chachi says financial literacy is key. Parents sometimes teach you to save, not to invest. Very true on that.
I taught my folks.
Hayden says my mother's first house in the 70s cost $28,000. You might get a parking spot for that now. Good point. Hayden also says great Caribbean advice, Ray. I forgive you for the previous statements now. By the way, I'm going to look in Caribbean land. Contact Ray. He could maybe help you.
Hayden. It's never personal. We have to educate each other.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Agree, but we have to respectfully disagree.
Hayden says in the 70s and 80s, all you needed was a good union job. You could retire well and send your kids to university. Those days are gone. Many don't realize that fact.
That's
and then
very
Teach and Inspires says to Camille, blessings to you, young lady. So the Camille fan club gets even larger. Wow. Okay. I want to ask both of you, when I say the word Black culture, what do you have to say?
Instant gratification or not there yet, not developed as it should be.
Okay. Hayden says, love you, Ray. Nothing ever personal. So family, we can have beef here and still love. Ray, when I say Black, what comes to your mind?
Culture is a very, very wide term. And having traveled extensively in a lot of Black communities and having lived in different environments, my answer can be very different from Camille's. When I hear the word culture, I think of like the whole that energy, like the food and just all that history and stuff that we have in our legacy, in the Caribbean, you've got all these different festivals that we have that go back, that have their roots in slavery, right? You go to parts of the U.S. down in the South, and you got a whole different vibe there. Like in the southern part of the U.S., you always call it Gullah Geechee, right? Which is an indigenous Black people who have sort of lived in the fringe of Black American society, and they've got such a rich culture. For me, it's the music, the roots of all of our music, jazz, the blues, the R&B, the hip hop, that permeates our soul in everything we do. It's just the way we walk. You see a Black man walk, there's a certain rhythm. You see a Black woman walk, there's a certain rhythm. You know what I mean? And I watch my son walk. He's 30 years old. He's born in Canada, but he got that Caribbean vibe the way he walks. That's what I'm saying. He got that vibe. There's a certain. So when I hear culture, that encompasses so many things to me. And then there's
Okay.
the whole food thing. I'm a food guy, you know what I mean? So like to me, it's the food stuff, you know, that roast fish and fried fish and pastries and
And
muffins
sorrel
and
that I
ginger
never
beer and
received.
sorrow, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
That's what it means to me. I mean, and that probably is for me growing up in Guyana and St. Lucia and come here as an adult. But that's what it means to me. But it also means
Okay.
family, because going back
Mm,
to the Caribbean, you know, your family owns property and everybody's involved in the process. And that's part of our culture, because after slavery, you were all given land in the Caribbean, a few acres of land. So the larger your family unit was, the more land you got.
mm,
Right? So if
nice.
you go back to Jamaica, Guyana, and Barbados, you had a lot of wealthy black families, because that was part of what, you know, people always say that slavery is not our story, but slavery is our story in this part of the world, right? We
Excellent.
were brought across here against our will. So for many of us, our story did start in this part. It did start in Jamaica. It did start in Guyana or Trinidad or Barbados or Grenada or St. Lucia, right? So culture to me is a very, very wide subject. That's a whole thesis by itself, you know. Um,
Hayden says, culture fractured is my word. And then Christopher says, Black ancestry culture protect our future. I when I look at the Black culture these days, I'm going, we don't own it. A lot of it we don't own.
um, I mean, yes and no.
North America.
I think I think it depends on who you're listening to and who you're watching. So I mean, if you're listening to mainstream media, which has very little black input and content, then it may appear that way. I mean, even
Mhm.
the music, right? I mean, if you've got, you know, younger kids, the lot of music that we see on the radio and the music videos, the young people into hip hop aren't listening to that stuff. That's the commercial stuff.
Yep.
Even regular music. So if you listen to certain artists, they've made it because became that they become commercial icons, but they aren't the ones that the youth are listening to. They aren't wearing those clothes. There's so many young designers who are making sneakers and, you know, t-shirts and clothes that we don't know about, but most of us don't know about. So it depends on where your content is coming from and who you're listening to and who you're reading.
I agree. I agree. It's where who are you listening to, and are you listening to both sides of the story,
Yeah.
right? Because I think even more and more we we were more and more people are becoming polarized, and they don't listen to both sides of the story. I don't mind if you listen to the side of the story, but try to listen. So if you watch once one news channel that seems to be left wing, you should also watch what the right wing has to say. You don't have to agree with them, but just see, because there may be some things they say, you know what, that is a good point, instead of just saying, no, 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 no. But I think and that's a whole other conversation in regards to controlling our narrative. I am very concerned about Black Canadians, Blacks in general, controlling their narrative. And I think it's becoming more and more concerning for me in regards to controlling our narrative. And I know some people say, well, I got to do this, I got to do that. But this is a dire time, at least in my opinion, right now, because I think, yes, we're post pandemic now, but things aren't going to change unless you want to make them change.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
true.
I agree with you. I think it's important to know, in order to know to navigate properly, you have to listen to all the conversations
Yes.
and have to be discerning enough to know how to take what you want out of it. Like, I mean, the last year we've come into the pandemic and we've gone into this whole financial crisis. So you've got two choices. You can either sit there and play dead, or you can figure out how you can monetize everybody's anxiety and make money. So everybody's stuff, or rates are rising. Well, rates are 5.25%. Rates in 2006 were probably like 5.8%. Rates in 2012 were probably the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look back at historical interest rates, it's not significantly higher than what's been at various points in the last 20 years. But why is telling you that? They're just giving you the current situation and putting all this, they're alarming you. No, so rates are,
Scaretastic.
yeah, so rates are 5%,
Yeah.
but properties have dropped in value significantly.
No,
So
for me, I've thrived.
yeah,
I've said, you know what? When things are down this, it's the best time to take opportunity.
yeah.
Right? Don't sometimes you have to observe the masses and do the opposite.
What I would suggest anybody who owns property do is go to their bank or their mortgage professional and get a line of credit and take all the activity of your house. It's not going to cost you a dime unless you use it,
Mhm.
right? If you got a house worth $1 million and you got a $300,000 mortgage in it, go to your lender and see how much you can qualify for. If you can cash out $300,000 or $400,000 out of your house in terms of a home equity line of credit, take it out. It's going to cost you probably $2,000 to do that, right? That $2,000 is the tax write-off because it's an investment. The money's not being used for investment purposes. Take all the cash out and sit and watch the market. Because if you have no cash in your hand, then you can't move with speed.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't pivot quickly,
Yep.
right? It's costing you nothing. It's not going to cost you anything unless you use it. I mean, this calls for discipline now, right? Because you want, I'm going to buy a Range Rover. That's stupidity.
I was
I mean,
I was
I don't
gonna
think
say
that's
that.
dumb stuff,
Don't
right? I
do
mean,
that.
you
Don't
think
do
about
that.
buy a Range Rover. Come on, that's like the dumbest thing you can do. I mean, you're buying a luxury car that's going to depreciate by 40% in the first year, right? But we're still in that mindset. And I did that, right? Stupidity. No, I drive a very basic car today because, they all drive the same way as far as I'm concerned,
4 wheels.
right?
Stay in your
So
lane.
take your
Sit
equity out
well.
of your home as much as you can,
Hmm.
park it in the money bearing, interest bearing account as a money market fund. Let's sit there and watch the market play itself out. Because come next year, when mortgages start to renew, a lot of people who bought investment properties without any real planning and understanding their long-term objectives are going to start selling those properties. There are many novice and uneducated real estate investors in this city. I deal with a lot of them. They have no clue what they're doing. They're buying property because that's what everybody is doing.
Oh,
Many of them will be able to close the condos they bought,
Hmm.
won't be able to renew their mortgage. And if they got a private mortgage, they have even more problems. If you have cash in hand, you're buying an asset that already has a tenant in it, most times, or can be tenanted very, very easily. That's why it makes sense to stay in the 416 because you have access to 24-hour transit. You've got access to most of the jobs in the GTA and the largest employers.
Hmm.
And that's where you're going to make money faster than anywhere in Ontario.
Okay. I hope people are taking notes.
I hope you're making a phone call. Well, that reminds
And
me.
that
Yes.
and that goes to our listeners in the US also, because the exact same things don't happen in America. And in
Yep.
America, they're even larger and you can scale
Mhm.
it faster, right? Because you're buying property much less expensively. The process, depending on where you are, may be easier. The qualification is very different, right? And same for the Caribbean. Because what happens in the Caribbean now, the non-Caribbean residents, during a time of economic slowdown, they go back to Europe. So they start to sell their properties. If you drive through any part of Grenada, Barbados, or St. Lucia, you will see all the for sale signs on the villas.
Mm-hmm.
Because if things have slowed down, the trickle down to the Caribbean from North America is a little slower. It's usually like a 6-month lag. And so they start selling. So it's not only here in Toronto you have the opportunity, it's global. And I tell people every single day, internet has shrunk the world significantly because all you
Absolutely.
need is a very good computer or a
Yep.
smartphone,
Yep.
and you
Mhm.
can find information anywhere in the world. I subscribe to real estate platforms in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Grenada, and Barbados. I get the alerts every single day and obviously in Florida, right? I get the alerts every single day about what properties are available for sale, right? But this is a time for you to figure out how to navigate and take
Yeah.
advantage of the opportunity. Because that'll happen again for another 10 years, probably. So if you're in your 50s, you've missed the bus. But don't be
Yeah.
afraid, right? It's leveraging debt.
Just start. Just start.
Correct.
Just start. Like there, as I said, there were a lot of things I didn't know this year that I found out this year that I feel better that I know
Mm-hmm.
them. Now I've got to make a decision and take action. So I'm going to be taking some action because of people like Ray, because of people like Wayne Harris, who've who taught things I didn't know, thinking about things I wish I knew about money. If you want to check out Camille, there's her website, there's her Instagram, there's her YouTube. Things I wish I knew about money. If you want to catch,
So, Camille, as an entrepreneur, as someone who works with clients, what do you think is your biggest challenge going to be going into 2023?
The biggest challenge is probably clients paying on time. That's usually one of the challenges, but I do want to get more out there with like social media, productive social media, and being able to provide a service and just keep building a relationship so people have that opportunity to treat me like Walmart and pay at the same time instead of um, layaway and all that good stuff. I find that the fo- some customers take my kindness for weakness and say like, oh, we'll just wait to pay Camille, like she's okay and all that good stuff. But I want to be treated like any other business, and respect comes with paying on time, and then also just still growing and building a team.
Do you have a debit machine on your desk?
Sorry,
Do you have a debit machine on your desk?
I don't.
So that's the first way to ensure you get paid on time.
Oh, okay. You know what? I
If
do
you have a
have
debit
to.
machine, then here it is. Tap your card, pay me.
That's a good
Right?
one.
I'm
That's
I'm just so, and if it depends where you are
Really,
financially
Keith.
with your business, but there's some clients you may need to let go.
Yeah, you
mm,
got to purge. Yeah, purging is necessary.
yeah,
I purge on a
purge.
regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Some
know,
clients are
like
dead weight.
yep. Earl Anderson said earlier about Ray knowledge bomb. What you were saying, Hayden says timing is so important. We'll see what happens in 6 to 9 months. One
But
of
I'm
Yeah, I
my
I'm
mean,
I'm
mentors,
excited.
one of my mentors said a long time ago, Dr. Vibe, you don't want the needy, you want the greedy.
um, I started my business long before social media existed,
Hmm.
um, and I think the focus shouldn't be on building a large social media following because that gives you the illusion that you're successful and your business is amazing. Your
Correct.
focus should be on having a client base that you are in touch with frequently because you
Hmm.
make the most money from an existing client.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
interested in having 10 million social media followers. I don't really care. I have nothing to tell you. Um, I've got, you know, a, probably a few thousand followers, and every day I delete people out of my circle, my social circle, because it's just unnecessary interaction and noise, in my opinion, and it's not being monetized. But I think for many of us, we look at the way our celebrities have, 100,000 followers and 10,000 followers,
Hmm.
but they are on a different platform than we are on. So you can't compare yourself to, you a LeBron James, for example,
Actually,
and saying,
you
why don't you
ironic you
just,
mentioned him. It's his birthday today.
oh, happy
Oh,
birthday,
it's
LeBron.
December
And
birthday.
also interesting, another thing, it's Tiger Woods' birthday today too.
Okay.
The
Oh
That's
wow,
Capricorn
look at that. So
season, huh?
Christopher Lawrence says, when you go to McDonald's, do they give you your order first or payment, hence the drive-through concept?
Yep. Yeah.
Pay
Yeah.
me.
That's, yeah.
I'll be
You have
like
to change the way,
Starbucks.
yeah, yeah, you have to change the way you have, how clients see your value. Um, I mean, we fire clients. I fired 2 clients this week, but last week, right? Like we tell them, he says, you know what, right now this interaction is not working for us. I suggest you find, my son told them, I just suggest you find someone else to deal with.
Mhm.
And you can never focus on the check, because if you focus on the check, then it becomes very challenging. Then you tend to compromise yourself to get to that check,
Yeah.
right?
Not all
And
money
if
is
you
good.
So
take
true.
Not all money is good money.
and if you take that person out of the equation,
Mhm.
because you gotta remember, you give them time for money. So if I'm going to invest 2 weeks, give it you on a transaction that should take me 4 hours, then I've made no money. So I'm better off getting rid of you and
Mhm.
spending the time doing some further education along my profession, making new connections,
Yep.
or just relaxing and getting my energy back, right? Instead of, because some deals, they drain all your energy. And when I explained that to my son a few weeks ago, and I broke it down for him, he got what I was saying, because he was reluctant to do it. I said, no, let's let the client go. Don't worry about the check. I said, 6 months from now, that check is going to be a very, very distant memory. You not even remember you didn't make that money, right? I've lost a lot of these over the last 25 and 30 years. And at the time, I thought the world was going to end, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
So finding a
Charisse
client is very
Taylor.
easy.
Wow, look at this. Charisse Taylor, long time. Purge big time. Your expertise is of great value. And she also says, consider utilizing social media to direct people to your email lists.
That is so true. You want to capture their emails so you can directly market to them. That should be the objective.
Yes. And that's one thing. Any people, social media has that thing called algorithms. They are always changing. So
Mhm.
I piggyback on what Ray says, develop strong relationships. This, if you have a tight circle that you consistently communicate with, that know, like, and trust you, and then all
Mhm.
you got to find out is, do you know what they want, and can they afford it? That's it. You can't develop relations with 100,000 people, and you don't want to develop with 100,000 people, because at least 98% of them go for that 2%, go for that 1%.
Yeah. And I think as consultants, I mean, if you send a product, you send a
Mhm.
$2 product, and you send a consultancy um, relationship, they're very different interact. If I'm selling pens, then I need to have 20,000 people follow me,
It's
right,
true.
to sell 20,000 lives on. They're $1 a pen. But if I'm a consultant and my average consultancy fee is $3,000 a client, then I only need 10 clients a month to have a very good income,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have to figure out what your business is and
Mhm.
adapt the approach that correlates with your business and what you're trying to achieve. So, I mean, everybody always says, oh, get on social media, do videos. Well,
No.
it depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. Do videos for who? Tell them what?
And, and
Yeah,
and again, does your audience even like videos?
yeah,
You gotta
that's the other
ask
thing.
them,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Right?
if my audience is working 50 hours a day, like Hayden said, how are they seeing these videos?
Right.
Right?
So,
And if anybody's watching videos all day long, they can't afford my service because they're making no money. And I got a very
right.
expensive service. I'm selling real
Yeah.
estate. I'm selling money, right? So if you
True.
have time to be on social media 20 hours a day or 20 hours a week, then unless you're a social media influencer, then you are not making a whole lot of money either.
There
I
you
don't
go.
want you as a customer.
I like, and teach and inspire goes. Good one. And Christopher's going, Camille sending you positive energy. I think we're gonna stop it right here. We're gonna have these once a month. I now, like, it's leading out of 2022. We have birthed another new conversation piece for the morning
Whoa.
vibe in the new year. I wanted to, I let the conversation flow, and I think it was fantastic. Monday we have a lady, Donna, is it Haro? I can't remember her name. That, and she's going to be talking about what Blacks should be looking for to achieve, I think, more in a social, cultural direction on
Mhm.
Monday. Let me just see if I can get, I don't want to, Donna Harrow, Harrow. So, and she's going to be talking about Black community New Year's resolutions on Monday. So I know most people are going to be off because it's the stat holiday for many people is going to be the Monday. We will be on Monday, and we also have Mr. Wayne Harris for the first Fridays back next Friday. So everything is going to be, we're still rolling. We're going to still rolling. Thanks to both you for taking the time today.
Oh, it's my
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
I know you enjoyed it, Camille.
Raymond, we have to connect. I want you on the podcast as well.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
that's all you want from him? Just
No,
on
of
the pod.
course
Oh,
not.
okay.
Of
All
course
right.
not.
All right. All right. Well,
Yeah.
before they leave, I'm going to put up their contact information. This is Camille's contact information, fitnetsiq.com, fitnetsiq on IG, YouTube, things I wish I knew about money. What don't you know, Camille?
I'm still learning. It's a
Okay.
every day you're learning something new.
Good.
That's
Good.
what
I
I
agree
found.
with that. If you're not learning, you're not growing.
Exactly.
So and then Macmillan Group, that's how you get a hold of them, or just watch any of our Monday conversations. The information is up there every Monday. And Ray, thank you so much for taking the time to jump in and drop the knowledge bombs today. Some stuff that I think many of us need to hear. And now the time is to take action.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vibe. It's been a pleasure. I had a lot of fun this year. I mean, thanks for bringing me in the inner circle.
Oh, no problem, man. We're gonna have more
I know
fun. We're gonna have
sometimes
more
my
fun.
views are not always the popular view, but I was never the popular person, so I have no problem sharing the unpopular view.
Hey, you got receipts.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right, you got the receipts. You have a wonderful business. You have a generational business.
Yeah.
Right. How many melanated people that have a generational business, and not even a successful generational business? Let me put that on top.
Thank you.
So enough said. Last
Soon to
comment we
come.
have here. Yes, Teach and Inspire says thank you to both. I'll let both of you run. I have to give away a calendar. We will chat to you very soon.
Yeah.
Blessings to you
Happy New
in
Year, everybody.
2023. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Be well and keep
Be
the faith.
safe. You know.
Yes, yes. Happy New Year.
All right, take care. And Ray, we're going to let you go. All right, we are done. What an epic conversation. We just have epic conversations here and things that people should and we think need to hear, but that's up to you. So let's get some things out of the way. We have a calendar to give away. So let's make it happen. And thanks everyone for dropping in today. I know a lot of people are basically plugged out at least till the new year, but that's no problem. That's all right. So let's get our giveaway tool up. And thanks everyone who made a comment. You can qualify. I'm going to give it away right now. Cherise Taylor. Fantastic. For haven't seen you for a while and you come on and you win. That is fantastic. Cherise Taylor. So what you need to do, Cherise, is this. If you want the calendar, let me just scroll down. All you need to do, Cherise, is email info@frequencypreventproductions.com and put the morning vibe in the subject line of your email. So the calendar that you'll be getting will be featuring Black-owned businesses throughout the general Toronto area. So please email. I will follow up with you in the next day or so to see if you haven't, or Frequency Event Promotions will follow up with me to find out, I'll find out if you've emailed. So we have a few more comments here. Yay, Charisse. Great show. Congrats, Charisse Taylor. That's Frequency Event Promotion. So they're already watching for you. And yay, woot woot. So again, I'm going to put up there for you, Charisse, again. Email info@Frequency Event Productions and put the morning vibe in the subject line of the email. Wonderful. So that is it for 2022. Thank you for all your support. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. You can watch replays of the Morning Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook. I've got to add in LinkedIn. I keep on forgetting to add LinkedIn. Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube. Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. I think we got some more comments here. People just want to put in the comments. Thank you right back, Charisse Taylor. Long time. Have a great Friday. Thank you, Frequency Event Promotions. So, as always, this is how we close out. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and we will be live on Monday. And again, big thanks to Camille and Ray for making this an epic conversation. Okay, there's another comment. I'll make sure I squeeze it in. Frequency has wonderful content in 22, Dr. Vibe. More to come. More to come. Thank you for your support, Frequency Event Promotions. God bless. Peace, well, keep the faith. Stay safe over the holiday season. And also, if you know that someone needs a call or just send some love to someone over the holiday season, please do that. There are a lot of people that are going through a challenging time right now. So if you can even phone call, text message, every little bit counts, all right? Remember to give yourselves grace. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. See you in 2023. See you Monday.